You know, sometimes it feels like the universe is just out to get me. With all this snow recently, I finally got a chance to check my oil. I just filled it back up yesterday, but I was about a quart low. But what I'm a little concerned with is right here in this valley. I mean, the valley doesn't look good to begin with, but there's oil there. There was like a little pocket. I wiped it out, and there was oil there today. So, like, is it coming up from the exhaust manifold? I know my exhaust manifold has a leak because it's missing a stud there, but I don't feel anything. So now that I'm home, I can actually see the problem a little bit better now. So now if I get the light in the right way, you can see that little puddle. And yeah, no, it's right here. You can see where it's leaking out of the top seal, so well, that's definitely not the worst thing that could happen, but it is going to be annoying. So it's been about a week and a half. I've just been cleaning up the oil and adding oil as needed, but looks like I got to get this thing started because it's going to drop in temperature in the next couple hours, and that's probably why it's so windy right now. I've been putting it off only because I knew as soon as I pull these out, it's probably going to snap because I didn't put enough anti-seize in there. But all I've got to do is remove that hose. I've got to remove that bolt to pull this throttle cable, and move those bolts to move that throttle cable so I can pull this up. That's fine. Really? Okay. $30mm. Oh, wrong way. No, that was the right way. So now that I got the cover off, you can see where it failed. It's pretty obvious. There's a couple spots. It is it's a solid gasket. It's done. It's it's pretty obvious. You can see a little bit of RTV in a couple different spots. Now, I probably should have gotten RTV black. I've got this gasket and sealant dressing that I'll probably use. But in the meantime, I'm going to go wash this up and see if I can get it a little polished. Spent close to an hour getting it cleaned. So you can see the inside is significantly better because I power washed it and then made sure it was dry, or dry enough anyway. I plan on changing the oil out. So here's the old gasket now that it's removed. And yeah, it's brittle, it's snapped. New gasket in comparison is nice and floppy. So it's only going to go in one way, so let me get set up. Here we are now. So you usually just want to work in a corner and get yourself around. And it is pretty obvious. There is a little bit more of a ridge on the top, but you really could not get this one backwards. It's not made to fit that way. I think we're ready to apply this gasket. I've been taking pictures on the backside here because it is really hard to see if you've gotten up all the goop. We're going to put some of that sealant compound on there. Like I said, most people use RTV black, but I am going to use this gasket dressing and sealant because it's what I'm used to and it works pretty good. But I've never really used it on a valve cover, and hopefully it doesn't come back to haunt me. So we're just going to put a little bit on the corner there. I've got this spot here that I'll put a tiny bit on just because there's a bunch of ridges. Yeah, but front, back, left to right, those 90-degree angles right there. I'm going to admit that was a little thinner than I thought it was. This side went on a little bit better, but yeah, I might put a tiny bit more over here. But yeah, once the actual gasket gets in place, it should fill in all the gaps. So now we got the other ones, metal side facing up. but I'm pretty sure it's 17 foot-pounds, which I do have it set. I think I'm going to do the two inside ones first. Oh, there we go. Alright, I'm going to consult the manual and see what we're looking at. After finding the entry in the service manual, it was 14 foot-pounds, so I did go a tiny bit over, but everything's fine. No leaks on the front anymore. I just changed my oil, went for a test drive. Had a moment where I thought I messed up, but I forgot to plug back in that green wire that does something to control the air intake on this module here. I had the full intention of replacing the spark plugs today, but turns out one of the 4 of the AC Delco plugs I have is defective, and I'm not going to mess with that right now. I bought new plug wires as well, but I'm thinking I'm going to save them for an emergency because, you know, I never know when I'm going to work on this. I'm going to unscrew that, and it's going to just snap. So I have that as a backup now. It's getting pretty late in the day. That's all I had for you. I'll see you in the next video.